Today's message. That new you that you've been striving to become, it doesn't come without a cost. Some of you have already paid that cost, and some of you are slowly paying it. And that cost is simply giving up your old self. Welcome back to Grow Rich, Grow Happy, all my free thinkers. That place where we follow the breadcrumbs to wealth. Guys, I want to give you my opinion or my thoughts on the ICP and HBAR network, their partnership. And this is not going to be overly complicated either. It's not, because I think when you get too far in the weeds, you miss so much. Now, I've told you guys many times, I have a business background, leadership, and working in government. And one of the things that I can tell you from experience, years and years of business experience and government experience, is that when you hear about something, it has already been talked about for months and months, sometimes years, before the public actually hears about it. It's not a knee-jerk reaction that two organizations get together and they say, you know what? They're at a meeting and they say, hey, we should partner. Yeah, I think so too. We'll figure it out on the back end, how we're going to benefit each other. But let's go on and release that. And they'll go and they'll just release it to the public, and they'll say, we're going to figure out, get this together, and we're just going to mutually benefit one another. It doesn't happen like that. A lot of things are worked behind the scenes. I always tell you guys about these backroom conversations that go on that we're not privy to. Now, in the past, ICP, and I've even got on them about marketing and things of that nature, and said they could stand for some better marketing. But there's no denying that these guys are ahead of their time, and that if you're in ICP and you're staking for 8 years, that means you have joined the vision. You can see the vision, although it may not be clear. You can see enough to know these guys are going somewhere, and I want to be along for that ride so I can better my family and, get these rewards as we move along. Well, if you look at the price right now of ICP and you look at the price of HBAR, you would not know that these two have partnered, because HBAR is a juggernaut and ICP is a juggernaut in their own right. But everybody knows who HBAR is. HBAR is one of the ISO tokens. They have everything, guys. And rather than a blockchain, they have the HBAR hash graph. So seeing these two move together, you have to think. When you look at the governing board, and this is how I want you guys to look at it. Stop thinking about, oh, this is not going to work. I don't see why these two will be partnering, and it's not a big deal. This is a major deal. You got to, when you zoom out, and I always tell people, zoom out and you look at HBAR first, and you look at their leading organizations that are on their board. And I'm just going to name a few: Google, IBM, Dell Technologies, LG, Hitachi. Guys, these are juggernauts in their own right, and these guys are on their governing body. Do you really think this is a knee-jerk reaction? Guys, when juggernauts like that sit around, they say, how can we make HBAR even bigger? And they look at someone like ICP, who a lot of people are missing. I look at their price today and I laugh. I'm like, they're $8 and something, and for some reason the masses are not going to come in until they're like $100. Then everybody's gonna be like, I got to get me some ICP. That is the wrong way to look at it. You got to look at it as a breadcrumb. They just gave us the biggest breadcrumb. Remember what I told you? This has been in the workings for a long time. We're just hearing about it. That's why I never pretend we're peons. And I never consider myself a peon, but when in the realm of these guys, we are peon. We are investors. And if you're invested in something, you have to say, well, obviously I trust them and I trust the decisions they're making. Well, you got to look at ICP and their smart contracts, the way they work with their canisters. They are miles ahead, eons ahead of everyone else. You think HBAR don't see that? Their governing body hasn't looked at that and say, how can we benefit with this? And likewise with ICP, again, this is business. This is business. We have to stop thinking we know everything. We have to stop being so tribal with crypto so that we can really make some true money. Because I'm going to read you something at the end of all of this. And it sums up everything I've always said and that I continue to bring you guys. Crypto is the only space where you see people like, oh, you hold ICP, you're stupid. Oh, you hold HBAR? Dumb. You hold Bitcoin? Casper? It's never going anywhere. Why is it like that in crypto? This is why I feel like we can't get ahead and why someone else does too. But you look at ICP, like I was saying, and what are they going to benefit from with joining these guys? They're going to get access to that governing body and the juggernauts who've built these companies up. Guys, that's great for the ICP community and it's great for HBAR. So rather than siding and saying neither is going to be something, you should be looking at this as a breadcrumb and thinking to yourself, well, maybe I should get a couple of these. Maybe I should. Because that's how money is made in stocks. People see things that's going on with NVIDIA before NVIDIA blow up. And they say, oh, let me go grab some of these. Let me go grab some of this Apple. Apple got what coming out? Oh, and they're incorporating AI? Oh, let me go grab some of their stock, not their phone. Let me go grab some of their stock because I'm going to get money. This is the same way I look at breadcrumbs. Like this is a big breadcrumb. And being that my background is business and leadership, I look at things from a different standpoint, a way that takes out the confusion. I get tired of the confusion in crypto and having to go all down in the weeds, because a lot of times that scares off the person who may not understand or have a background in those things. So I, here on Grow Rich, Grow Happy, I try to take all that confusion out and say, hey, here are the facts. Here's how you should look at it. You don't have to understand a lot of that to understand that this makes good business. This is a great decision. I'm not looking at the whole meeting or any of that. I'm looking at, oh, you guys just announced this. So how long have you been talking about it? These are the questions. How long have you been talking about this? And what aren't you telling us? Because in the long run, especially with this now crypto-friendly regulations that are coming in, there's going to be more benefits than anything, guys. Rather than looking at it and thinking, that's a stupid way, that's a stupid combination. Look at it and say, what if it works? What if it works? And I think that's the way I prefer to look at things because it makes it a lot easier. So the other thing I want to talk to you guys about, and also, again, both of those projects, ICP and HBAR, they're a good deal right now. It's not financial advice. But looking at you need to be able to look at current events, especially if you can see them early. Then look over at prices and say, am I getting this for the best deal right now? If you are, and all of this hasn't caught up yet, because the only thing that's going to happen now is more things are going to start rolling out, which is going to roll into that price. And unfortunately, people are not going to wake up and want to get it until things are up there. But anyway, I promise you guys, we were going to talk about something else too. And what this is a Brad Garlinghouse post that he made recently. And I'm going to flash it up here while I read it because I think this right here sums it all up. And I want you guys to if you're someone that is tribal with your holdings and your crypto, you should really keep this in mind. He says, some thoughts on maximalism. Let me say this as clearly as I can. The crypto industry has a real shot here and now to achieve the many goals we have in common. If we work together instead of tearing each other down, this is not and never will be a zero-sum game. He says, I own XRP, Bitcoin, and Ethereum, among a handful of others. We live in a multi-chain world, and I've advocated for a level playing field instead of one token versus another. If a government digital asset reserve is created, I believe it should be representative of the industry, not just one token, whether it be Bitcoin, XRP, or anything else. Maximalism remains the enemy of crypto progress. And I'm very glad to see fewer and fewer folks subscribe to the outdated, misinformed thinking. And I always say it is a misinformed thinking. You guys see it. You know, you do. And I know as a content creator, you talk about a token and then you might get some comments saying that's never going anywhere. That's stupid. And, you know, I always look at it. I was like, this is so counterproductive. We're all trying to make money here. I think it is a little small way of thinking. And for someone like me who thinks out the box, I look at that and I say, oh, you'll never, ever get the things that you're hoping to get out of life because you're looking at it with a critical mind all the time, like a negative mind. So I subscribe to pick up the breadcrumbs, see how this makes sense, or if it doesn't make sense, try to do some research. But when you got two forces like this, I think HBAR really helps solve a lot of the ICP problems as far as partnerships go, marketing and different things of that, because you have now they have access to some of the biggest companies that have ever did it, especially when you talk about Google, IBM, Dell, and all these guys being on the same board. They've talked this over, guys. We're peons. We're just hearing about it. You think they really don't have it figured out? I mean, to think that they don't have this figured out is asinine. It's just, it's why I shake my head sometimes. But you guys let me know down below. What do you think of this partnership? Do you think it's going to be mutually beneficial to both parties? Or do you think one is going to benefit more than the other? Either way, I believe personally it's going to be mutually beneficial. And as we're just getting started here, you got to remember, I told you ICP is leaps and bounds ahead of their time. Here's the question you should be asking. Who else are they talking to? Who else is ICP talking to behind the scenes? Because smart people, smart business and leaderships, they look at stuff like that and they say, yeah, I want to be incorporated into that. Let's partner and do bigger things. That's just business. And sometimes you have to get out the weeds and see it for what it is. To the next one, guys. You let me know down below. Make sure you subscribe, follow, share these videos, guys, with someone that could use an opportunity just like you. I'm out.